Muy buenos días, amigos. Gracias por acompañarnos. Y aquí está la dama que está bailando porque le gusta la música. Andrea's dancing because she likes the tune that is played at the beginning of the program.
I love the intro. Our producer came out with that intro, and every time that it's played, like da 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 da, and I was like dancing, and that's a good way to start a day.
Pretty soon we'll have
I love to dance.
We'll have Mark dancing here in a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna teach him.
Yeah, you guys can get back here and do a dance. Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our weekly TLC Live on Facebook. And a couple of program notes. We want you guys to participate, and we have a way that you guys can participate on the program by, Mark is going to put up a link, I guess, and you can click on that, and you come right on the show. So if you want to make a comment rather than just, you can make a comment via Facebook, but if you want to be on the program and make a brief comment, keep it clean, we'd love to have you on. So a lot of things happening yesterday. As you all know, we originate this program in Harris County, which is the third largest county in the United States. And a friend of mine, and I will call him a friend because I've got a lot of respect for this man. He served as a Houston police officer, and he subsequently ran for sheriff of Harris County and was elected sheriff.
But before that, he was a city council member.
Yeah. He was elected to city council at a district in Houston, and then he ran for sheriff and was elected. I know him personally. He's a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
He's on the other. He's on the other side of the aisle, as we say. But
he's a very good person, great friend, and I know him since 20 years ago. Like I met you, and I met him when he was a HPD officer.
Right. And so Ed Gonzalez is the former Houston police officer that served the citizens of Houston, putting his life on the line to protect us. He then became a city councilman and served for 6 years on the Houston City Council, and then became the elected sheriff. And by the way, received probably the highest number of votes that a sheriff has received in our county. And a decent guy, a good guy. However, let me say that this is what I don't like in politics, is the hypocrisy of the left. And so do you remember, and you guys will remember, that when 45, President Trump was president of the United States, we had similar caravans coming up from Central America, right?
Correct.
And President Trump, just like President Biden, were struggling to figure out how do we house and how do we protect children and families and until we can process them through the proper channels if they are in fact seeking asylum in the United States. The Trump administration, in my opinion, correctly separated children from the alleged parents, right? Because ICE has no way of knowing if these are really their parents. It could be coyotes, right, acting as mom and dad. So for the safety of the children, they separated them. Of course, the national media says President Trump is ripping families apart. President Trump is putting children in cages, which is the same thing the Biden administration
exactly
has done,
the same thing, but why the game change?
The hypocrisy.
Correct.
The hypocrisy of the left. So during the Trump administration's struggling to house undocumented aliens that present themselves at our border, was doing the same thing that the Biden administration. In fact, he actually did come down to the border, right? Remember when President Trump to evaluate the situation. President Biden won't come out of the cellar. He only comes out during the day because I guess he goes to bed at 7 p.m. And his number two, Kamala Harris, has been assigned to take care of the border crises, right?
Imagine.
Has she been down here?
No.
No. So,
but we've been hearing authorities and mayors and authorities in the border like, please do something about it.
Right.
You're not helping us here in the border.
Correct. So the hypocrisy of the left during the Trump administration's same struggles on how to house and how to keep safe the children and families that were coming until it was their time to process, our elected leaders on the left, and they are I won't even call them Democrats. They're on the left, the far left, and Mark's going to put up a picture, decided to march down the streets of Houston. Now, on that picture, if you'll look to the left, you will see our city council member and in the black shirt. And next to him is our county judge, Lina Hidalgo, right? And we have U.S. Congressman on the far right, Sylvia Garcia, and
Carol
we have
Alvarado.
our Senator Carol Alvarado. These are the people who are demanding that we abolish ICE.
And then the activist.
Yeah, and that ICE has no purpose, right? Defund the police, abolish ICE. Trump was the worst. Yesterday, that same county judge was congratulating our sheriff, who has been nominated by the Biden administration to become the director of Immigration Customs Enforcement. Let me repeat that word. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
ICE.
ICE.
Correct.
Is that hypocritical, Andrea?
Very. Because now what they're going to say when they were marching and doing this alboroto, crazy things that they were doing on the street, abolish ICE, and now like, oh, congratulations, Ed Gonzalez, my friend. We're so proud of you.
One of our guys is going to get to enforce. Now, here's the issue, though.
So how are they going to work with that? I mean,
I don't know. And you know what's funny is the lazy media has not seen that photo and bothered to ask Lina Hidalgo, the county judge, why she had a change of heart all of a sudden yesterday. And that's congratulations. We have the man that we need enforcing our immigrations and customs enforcement laws and policies. One other thing, Andrea. If and when, and I hope he does because he's a good man, when Ed Gonzalez gets sworn in as the head of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, guess what he has to do? He has to take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Now, are the immigration laws of the United States our legal laws passed by the people's representatives?
Of course. So what are they going to say now?
Exactly. What are they going to say when Ed Gonzalez starts enforcing immigration laws? Because if he's going to be a good director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, he's got to uphold our legally passed statutes, laws, and policies promulgated through Congress. So what's he going to do? Is he going to cross his arms and say, well, like he did at the Harris County Jail, I'm not going to cooperate with ICE, and I'm not going to enforce 287G. 287G, folks, is the section of the Immigration Code that says that if you're arrested and held as a criminal suspect in the county jail, ICE agents can come in and do a background check to see if you're undocumented.
Correct.
And if you're undocumented, after you serve your time, after you get adjudicated, meaning after you go to court, you get deported, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what Ed Gonzalez said? I'm not going to enforce 287G. I'm not going to allow ICE agents in Harris County. So it's going to be an interesting situation to see if Ed Gonzalez picks and chooses what laws he wants to enforce.
We need popcorn for that.
It's going to be great popcorn watching. Yeah.
Of course.
And so I think, of course, our lazy media will never hold his feet or Lina's feet to the fire. It's all congratulations, just like Sylvia Garcia, who was bashing the Trump administration when we were warehousing the children in Houston. The first bus that arrived a couple months ago, she was welcoming them.
Of course.
Hypocrisy.
And then the mayor of Houston said, I am your mayor. And he was saying out loud in the press conference, I am your mayor.
Yeah, because he wants them to vote for him next time. Well, he can't run again.
Well, they can vote for him.
Anyway, there you have it. There you have it. I mean, nothing is going to get by me and Andrea. We see this. We cover it. We're on the ground. We will tell you the truth. So after you watch the 5:30 national news, we'll never expose this, and the local news that will never expose this, come back and watch us, and we'll tell you the truth. Ahora.
With popcorn, too.
I can't. So, guys, if you want to participate.
Yeah, let me remind them. If you want to participate, you want to be live with us, like your video, live with us, go on the description of this video, and it's going to be a link. You're going to see a link. You just click on the link, and our producer is going to bring you with us, and you can talk to us and comment about this topic or about, anything that it concern you, of course, with respect, because if you are not respectful, so we're gonna just take you off of the air. But that's an opportunity that you just go on the description, click on the link, and you're gonna be live with us. Also, our other producer put in the comments. You're gonna see a link also, and I think it's chat, right? Yeah. He put a link, so you can click on that link either in the comments or on the description, and you can be live with us.
So go to Chad's comment that you'll see on Facebook. Click on that. You can Mark will let you in. Okay, Pastor, tenemos mucha bulla del Pastor.
Yeah, no. We have a guest today as a dear friend that I met him 2 years ago in a Republican convention in Washington, D.C. And we got along. We had so much fun. And then we became just good friends. And he invited us a couple of times to his show because he also have a show. So he was born in Mexico but raised here in Houston. And he is right now, in Colombia, en mi país. Le encanta Colombia y además tiene oficinas en Colombia.
Está haciendo la solicitud para ciudadano colombiano.
Sí, ya le estamos, ya come arepas y empanadas y frijolitos y chicharrón y todo eso. Así que, Pastor Charles Torres, welcome to TLC Live. Thank you for taking your time. I know you are over there in Colombia. What part of Colombia you are right now?
Estamos en Ciudad de Montería. We are in Montería, a few hours from Medellín, from Cartagena, from Barranquilla. We're in the coast right now, Colombia.
Well, good. It's great to have you. We remember being on your program, and we look forward to hopefully you'll invite us back to your program. But thanks for taking the time to be with us. I can tell you that the audio is a little messed up, so we hope that it'll improve. But tell us what you're doing down in Colombia, and when are you coming back to Houston?
I was hearing the intro. Now I can hear you.
Pastor, let's do this. If you hang up and just come back to the show, maybe we can fix that problem. You hear me? Okay, great. Well, Pastor Charles, he's very active. He's very conservative. He was born in Mexico, as I said, and he has been in Houston, pretty much all his life. He's a realtor, but very active in the Christian church, and he's always educating and engaging our Latino community to vote, to participate, to ponerse la camiseta, to love this country as he loves this country, as I love this country, as you love this country. But we need to participate. So he's always very active, and you see him is very active in social media. He's very active in one of the platforms that he create, and he's going to talk about that. And he's and you know what, Orlando, last Wednesday when we had the other pastor, yeah, exactly, from South Texas, he was telling us, because we were asking him what we can do to get together and to improve everything that we're doing, and he said, bring more pastors, bring the church. And that's what we did. So I said, okay, let's invite Pastor Charles Torres, because he's very active, he's very conservative, and he's always trying to engage and educate our Latino community. So this is like a continuing together with Pastor, the one that we interviewed last Wednesday. And he was telling us, we need leaders like him, because we Latinos, when we go to church, we follow our leader, and our leader is our pastor, our praise.
If we go to church.
If we
don't go to church, our leader is Univision, right?
Ouch.
And they vote that way. Yeah. So Andrea's absolutely correct. We have great conservative leaders in the evangelical movement across the state of Texas. We brought you one last week. He's a pastor he was born in Nicaragua, but he's of course a Texan now, and he's the one we had on last week. If you missed that show, you can we have all our programs archived here on Facebook, and we also have them on YouTube. And this week we're bringing in Pastor Torres, if we can get a good connection down in Colombia. But these guys get it. They don't only preach the gospel and the word for Christians and their membership, but they also recognize that they and their congregations have a duty in the civic life of the United States. And so they are an antidote to the leftist messages that most people are receiving through Univision and to some extent through Telemundo. There are other sources of information, and we're just delighted that both Pastor Cabrera and Pastor Torres are active in telling people the same message that we tell them. Vote your values,
Yeah.
right? If your values are to have boys get a sex change and compete with girls in athletic sports, vote that way. If your values are to have the government force your church to perform a marital rite in your church between same-sex individuals, vote those values. If your values are to allow the government to tell your 14, 15, 16-year-old daughter that they could get free contraception at a government clinic, vote your values. If you believe that you and everybody else that's working hard can sit at home and just get a government check, what I call the government cheese crowd, vote your values. But if you value the family, hard work, liberty, your freedom, your ability to design your own destiny, then vote that way. Mm-hmm. And if you do, you will vote conservative in this state. And Texas is trending conservative among Latinos, and we're delighted. And it's because of people like Pastor Cabrera and Pastor Torres. So I think we have Pastor Torres back.
Charles, you're back? Let's see. We don't hear you. Maybe you're mute.
Yeah.
Maybe you're mute. You can hear us?
Yeah, we can't hear you though. We have a I guess bad internet.
I guess it's bad
connection.
internet in Colombia.
They must have Comcast.
Yeah, probably. You
Yeah,
hear
I
us?
can hear you fine.
Okay. Let's see if we can try to go through
I can
this
hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Charles, tell us what you're doing down there in Colombia.
Well, what we're doing is we have a team of people that work, and it's also a customer service experience that we offer clients down over there in the States. We have a multiple of teams in Latin America. So part of my job is to come out and supervise and do that work.
So, Pastor, we have a really bad connection down there. I understand you can hear us, but you're cutting in and out. We can pick up a few. Let's just try this. Talk to me about what drives you to encourage your members at your church and everyone you have contact with to vote, because a lot of pastors are afraid to talk about our civic responsibilities as Christians in this country, right? A lot of our Latino pastors don't even talk about that. We tell people to vote their values. But what has inspired you to convince your fellow Texan, your fellow Latino to vote their values?
Yeah, so thank you again for the opportunity. I mean, one of the main or the big objectives for us, the organization that I vote is just educating pastors. We see that the pastors and churches, in particular, the members from the churches, they go to the God. They want to see God do great things in their lives, but they're just disconnected from politics. They're disconnected from at the state level, the government, federal level. And one of the things that drove me into be engaging was just putting my to love God and my desire for God to do something, but manifesting it outside of the church, the four walls. That we encourage pastors and we encourage members to the message inside the four walls, but to which is really what Jesus Christ was. So that's what inspires me to do that every day.
Okay, well, I think we picked that up. We're only hearing every third word because
The connection
it's
is
a
really bad in Colombia,
bad
I
internet
guess.
connection.
I want to know about the voterevival.com, that platform, because last Wednesday we had another pastor as a guest, and he has another platform and another movement that he is like, engaging Latinos, and he's promoting that, and it's called Make America Godly Again. And in your case, you have a movement that is Vote Revival. So tell us a little bit about that and how everybody can be part of this.
Yeah, so part of the thing about Vote Revival is, again, it's encouraging pastors message of the gospel and taking it to the voting booth, and not only educating them so that their members are educated in policy and publicy, and it's a movement where we have pastors and leaders states, and where they also do the same thing together, encourage, bring members out so that they can know the leaders in charge of the leaders of the government, and we want to make sure that they know who's running the country. We want to make sure they know who's running council, who's the mayor.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Okay,
lost
we
him.
lost him. But anyway, we'll have him back when he comes to Houston.
Yeah.
We're delighted that he could join us, and it's a tough, to do an international connection like that. So,
Another thing that was going on, and I was reading on the news, is like the census 2020.
oh yeah,
Yeah, give us a good news that Texas is going to gain 2 positions in the Congress.
correct.
So, and they were talking about it's because people of color, and the media was saying people of color.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I guess that means you and me.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
We
But
all have color.
I don't know, but they were. I mean, and it was a lot of it was a debate on the comments after the media post that on social media and the platforms. And I was like, people of color, what did that mean? What did you just say that Texas gained 2 positions in the Congress because the population just increased? That's it. Why you have to mention people of color?
Well, Andrea,
What is people of color exactly?
Well, you're absolutely correct. This is the media, the liberal left, the infiltrators, the socialists that have infiltrated not only our high schools, our universities, and our editorial boardrooms, and assignment editors at TV stations and national media everywhere. They have to divide. They have to make people dependent on the government.
Yeah.
And as Andrea says, who is a national figure in the news, because as you all know, she was an anchor for Univision and has been in different cities around the United
Mundo
States.
Fox,
And
and
she's been on
TV
Mundo
Azteca.
Fox. Yeah. So she's not a rookie in the media, but she's absolutely correct. Why does the media have to say that Texas, because of its population expansion, has gained 2 seats in the U.S. Congress? That it's because of people of color.
Yeah.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
looking at for exactly what they
we're
say.
Texans, for God's sake. And so the media is always trying to divide us. And I'm assuming that they want to diminish, a particular community. I don't know what the media means by we're getting 2 congressional seats because of people of color. Okay, yes, we can talk about the growth of the Latino population in Texas. Yes, we can talk about all of the folks of California who, by the way, are losing population, and New York. Those states are bleeding population. And as they bleed population, their revenues, because of the tax base, is decreasing. So their debt is increasing. Those people are coming to Texas. We hope they're coming to Texas because they value our system of government. Low regulation, low taxation, the freedoms that we have. But it's for the media to say that we got 2 congressional seats because of people of color. Are you serious?
What they're saying, yeah, there's
what does that
dividing
mean?
already. They're dividing already. We know that.
By the way, I like your color.
Oh, yeah.
You have great color
today.
today.
Every time that I fill up the census or I fill up any form, even when I did everything that wherever you go, that you have to fill up a form, they ask you, are you white, black?
Yeah.
Or I said, I'm white. But then they have to ask you,
No,
what is your background?
Yeah, and when you and those of us that are from the Spanish-speaking world, when we say we're white, some people look at us and go, "Well, I thought you were Hispanic." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
well,
are you
I'm
what?
white.
I
And
mean,
you're white with blue eyes.
we have Hispanics that are of Asian descent. We
Yeah.
have Hispanics that are of African descent.
Yeah.
We have Hispanics that are of indigenous, descent from the Americas, and we have Hispanics that are of European descent.
We have a Nicaraguan Chinese friend.
Yeah. So
Eddie Sang.
the media is so ridiculous.
They're dividing people by default.
Yeah. The national media and the local media has become a source of entertainment. And speaking of media, Andrea, they had the Oscars the other day.
Oh my God, yeah. I was reading that too.
I mean, their audience plummeted. I mean, plummeted.
Yeah.
No one cares about Hollywood. And I'm going to make a confession. I haven't been to a movie theater in over 32 years because I am so fed up with Hollywood. I mean, it's just, and these people are, the woke nation. And this is the way corporate America's going now. It's like corporate America is so damn confused. Like Coca-Cola, why don't you just sell soft drinks and stay out of politics? The NFL, the NBA, MLB, why don't y'all play your sports? You're well compensated. You make millions of dollars. Stay out of politics. Unless you want to run for office, roll your sleeves up and get into the political arena. But nobody pays, $17,000 a year for a season ticket at a baseball game to have your politics shoved down our throat in a subsidized stadium that all of the taxpayers have built what we call sports palaces. So, hopefully Coca-Cola and all the woke corporations in America will go the way of the Oscars, that they become irrelevant, that no one pays attention to them.
So we know, and we always say that a Latino community is the community that is growing the most. And they're talking about 2030 and 2050, that we're going to be the majority. But to say that we're just gaining 2 congressional seats because people of color, I was like, really?
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. But we have our guest back. We try one more time.
Let's try one more time.
I'm here again. I'm
Pastor,
not sure what's going on,
Pastor,
but I'm here.
besides your office over there, you need to start thinking about bringing a good internet connection. That will be a good business over there.
That's true. That's true. They don't have the fiber yet. They don't have that extended Wi-Fi connection. So, but I'm back and I changed.
But you are in a small town,
so.
right? You are not in Bogota, right? You are not in the capital city.
No, I'm in Monteria.
Oh, that's why. Montería es en la costa, donde están los costeños.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
Correct.
Pastor, one of the things we've always talked about since we created this political action committee and even through our nonprofit is we always tell people to vote their values. And what's your sense of what's going on with the Latino vote in the state of Texas? I mean, were you surprised, as our friends on the left, that particularly Hispanics down along the border were voting conservative? Is that a surprise to you?
I'm not actually surprised. And the reason why is because the conservative voices are louder and louder each time. Down there in the South, there is a lot of pastors, a lot of conservative leaders, and their voices are loud. They're loud and clear. And I don't think I'm surprised. I think the left is surprised because they didn't think there was that many conservatives down there. But I just so believe that Hispanics, just by their culture is conservative. So we can get the message of what this movement of being conservative is, and that how they don't reflect their left values. I mean, they're going to come out and vote conservative.
Pastor, what is the importance of the church and pastors getting involved in politics? You always hear that people should not talk of politics or religion on a table or when you're gathering with friends. But and if you should not talk about politics or religion, imagine combining these two.
Yeah. So one of the things what I was saying when the network was not working is that the church is called to preach a message of the truth, right? The message of the truth. And the truth is not only or I should say that the truth involves everything that is true, you know. And so many messages out there. You guys are talking about it, about the news, you know, creating this false narrative, fake news, just so many things that are not true. It's a responsibility of the church to clear up that message and just announce what is true. And of course, the media doesn't do a justice in saying anything that is true nowadays. So pastors do have to become more engaged. They have to become more educated if they want to continue to preach the message of the truth. And the message of the truth, of course, is Jesus Christ. But everything else that surrounds the truth is also the message of.
Oh, we're losing him again.
Okay. Well, let's try a quick question, Pastor. I'm always invited to speak around the state of Texas, and there's a lot of interest by Republican precinct chairs, for example. Last night I spent over an hour with our local conservative Republican precinct chairs, and they're really struggling with how to reach the Latino community. And I always tell precinct chairs and leaders in the Republican Party, show up. Just show up. Talk to the community. We're no different than anyone else. You know, if you think our values are similar, then come shake our hand. Ask us for our vote. Invite us to participate in the party process. Explain to us what a district senatorial convention is. What's a state convention? How do you get to the national convention? Explain to us, those that may be new citizens or just starting to vote, what a national platform is for the parties and how they differ. Explain to them the difference between getting a paycheck that has very few taxes taken out of your paycheck and voting for a party that takes half of your paycheck. Explain how that affects your family. Or explain to a father that may have 4 or 5 young ladies in the household how the government is trying to not only brainwash them in the education process, because we no longer have an education process in this country and in this state, we have an indoctrination process. And so tell them, if you like the indoctrination of the public schools, send your child to a public school. But if you want, as a parent, to have a choice to send them to a parochial school, a charter school, or to teach them at home through homeschooling, then you might want to think about voting conservatives, because conservatives value the individual, not the state. Am I right, Pastor?
Yeah, that's so correct. And one of the things also is that these leaders, these precinct chairs, there's just so much opportunity to connect and engage with the churches, with pastors. And I'm finding out that pastors want to engage. They just don't know how to. They don't know who the leaders are. They don't know who the precinct chairs are. So there needs to be some type of an adjustment by the local leaders at the lowest level of the precinct chair. And also there has to be an engagement from the churches, the pastors, the clergy members, the local leaders, everybody has to give in if we want to see America better, if we want to see our communities better. We just have to engage. And I'm finding out again that pastors do want to engage. They want to have the conversation. They want to know who's running the show. They want to know who the leaders are, and they want to participate. And we have seen even our trend in our own reporting. The trend has been that there has been more participation, and that there has been pastors that want to become even precinct chairs, or even have a delegate to go to these meetings, these conventions, and just so many things that are happening, so many meetings that are happening around the city, around the world, around the country.
Pastor, what has been the reaction or the feedback from your community in church when you guys start talking about politics and engaging them to vote and participate?
Okay, so we do see about maybe 85% of those that we network with that are conservative, that
Oh, we're losing your audio.
that have voted to the left. It's unclear to me why they do that, because it goes against the whole idea of the principles that the church preaches on. So I'm not sure why they do that. I do see that there is a lot of conversation. There's a lot of becoming open-minded, and again, people want to participate. So I tell everybody that's around me, I mean, just go out there and vote. Vote based on your principles. Vote based on what you preach, and that has been my message to all these pastors that we network with.
Pastor, for everybody watching, you're watching three conservatives that are immigrants to this country. Pastor Torres is from Mexico City, born in Mexico City. I am from Cuba. Andrea is Colombiana, and many of our folks watching us, because we're watching comments on Facebook, are also immigrants, and most of them are conservative. Here's the problem. In urban areas, people watch Univision a lot. I know that in
Telemundo.
And Telemundo. And in rural Texas, people are actually working. Okay, they don't have time to sit around and watch the telenovelas and then watch Jorge Ramos feed them a bunch of lies, right? But the media has made us in this country, the conservatives, look like we're anti-immigration. Let me clarify this. My party and conservatives are not anti-immigration. We are for respecting and following the laws dictated through the U.S. Congress, which is our representative form of government. If you don't like them, you can run leftist, socialist candidates like the Democrats do to go to Congress and change the laws. But we are a representative democracy. Our immigration laws come from the people through their representatives in Congress. These are the laws. And yet, the media makes conservatives in this country look like we're anti-immigration. We are not. We are for legal immigration. No one likes a turnstile jumper. If you're in line to go watch a soccer match, if you're in line to go to a concert, if you're in line to get a vaccination, no one likes the person that jumps over everybody and goes to the front of the line. Is our system of immigration perfect? No. Is it slow? Yes. Do 5 billion people want to come to the United States? Yes. Ask yourself why everyone in the world wants to come to the United States. Ask yourself why no one is immigrating illegally to China or to Russia.
Or to Latin America.
Or Venezuela. They all want to come here. Oh, we think that's great. Those of us that are lucky enough to be born in the United States or lucky enough to have immigrated here and been naturalized, as we all have, we're lucky. We thank God for that.
Yeah.
And we wish we could take the whole world in, but we can't. And that's why we have policies, rules, and regulations. The conservatives in this country are not anti-immigration. We're pro-immigration, but done the right way. Can we improve the immigration system? Absolutely. But let me say this to you. Neither party has been willing to do so. Pastor, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, I lost him.
in the Latino, our community is not anti-immigration.
We're having problems hearing you.
Pastor, we got a bad
you're breaking
connection
up.
again. But listen, let's pick up the conversation when you come back. We want to wish you the very best in Colombia. We thank you for participating because I think, everybody wants to hear what you have to say, and it's not fair that we have a bad connection, so everybody's missing what you're saying. So anyway, safe travels. God bless you. We'll see you when you get back.
Yeah,
we'll
let's
have you
visit
back on
when
the
you
show.
come back, and we have you here at the studio.
All right. So, this is a point I want to make, or it really irritates me because I was thinking this morning, how come China doesn't have an illegal immigration problem? And how come Russia doesn't? How come Venezuela?
Well, we are
Cuba?
having now illegal immigration problem with the Venezuelans.
Yeah, no, I know. It works,
Now with the Venezuelan situation,
Right.
So many countries in Latin America or everywhere in the world are having problems with Venezuelans because they're running away from the situation.
Well, I understand that, but the world wants to come here.
But
And
exactly.
the world is looking for countries that are free and
Yeah.
recognize the dignity of human liberty, right?
Yeah.
That's where they're going. And the bulk of them are coming here. So
And if you go anywhere in the world, the immigration policies are so difficult and strict. And here they come and it's like, I deserve everything here.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I deserve it all. I don't need to stand in line. I don't need to follow your rules. I'm here on the border at the Rio Grande, and I'm coming in. That's our immigration policy. And,
that needs to change.
And it's a huge burden on the taxpayers of Texas. Let me tell you, because all of you that have been, if there is a news outlet that will report the truth, you will learn here in the urban area, because none of our TV stations cover this, but the border counties of Texas last week issued declarations that they are not sanctuary counties. The mayors, even the Democrat mayors, are fed up with illegal immigration. And the border sheriffs are, working their rears off to cooperate with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, CBP. It is an unmitigated disaster. But folks, the burden of illegal immigration falls upon us, the local property taxpayer, because even if illegal aliens, undocumented people, for those of you on the left that are politically correct because you don't like the word illegal, you want them called undocumented aliens, then that burden falls on you and me as a property taxpayer, because somebody's got to pay for the health care.
We're paying for that.
Somebody's got to pay for the education of the children.
That's what I was saying when Sylvester Turner just came on the news and say, I am your mayor. I said, no, we are the one that pay your salary. You are our mayor. You are not their mayor. Right? Or I'm wrong?
Well, it's a fine line, but yes, he is their mayor because now they are.
But we pay his salary.
Yeah, I understand we pay his salary, but the argument is that the undocumenteds pay taxes too. So now,
but they just got here.
It doesn't matter. He still has a duty. This is the beauty of America. When there's a wreck in Houston or any of city in America, and there is a family of 6 undocumented aliens, the ambulance will respond. Our city firefighters will respond.
I know.
And we pay taxes for a local charity hospital, and we will take care of you. And by the way, we will educate your children. That's the beauty of America.
And if the federal government is not doing anything, the local governments needs to start doing something, like the South Dakota governor, that she said, I'm not allowed these kids here in my state.
Well, she's not allowing ICE to locate the temporary facilities.
Exactly.
But she cannot control where undocumented aliens
No, I know,
go.
I understand, but the facilities to bring those kids.
Yeah. Well, but look, let me be very candid. That hurts the conservative movement for a Republican governor to say, don't house these people here. They're being housed because now they're being processed through a system that is established by law. So I think it hurts conservatives. I think it hurts Republicans for a governor to say that. It's red meat, politically red meat. We should have a position of compassion and understanding. I don't like illegal immigration. I don't want illegal immigration. I'm a proponent of strong border security. But once they get in here, we have a duty as fellow human beings to take care of them. I know people don't like to hear that. It's not our fault. And it's the fault of the federal government. It's the fault of the executive branch for not enforcing the laws. But we can't take a position that runs contrary to our Christian values. And that's why we pay taxes.
But it's going out of control.
It is totally out of control. I mean, we recognize that. And it's out of control because there's no leadership in Washington. Congress will not, let me repeat, Congress will not reform. By the way, President Biden has signed a record number of executive orders far exceeding what President Trump did. Congress does not act. Congress is happy letting a president become the superior ruler of this country. And by the way, if you read the Constitution, the weakest branch of government was designed to be the presidency. The weakest. There's very few things under the Constitution that the president can't do. Virtually all of the power is reserved to the Congress, which is the House of Representatives, and the Senate. But the Senate and Congress will not act. So the president has stepped in, both Republicans and Democrats, to fill in that gap, and now it's in vogue to lead this country by executive order. Both parties. I'm not saying just the Democrats do that. And if that weren't enough, Congress is punting to the Supreme Court. Oh, let them decide. Let them decide. So Congress has a problem. And, they're not highly rated by the American people. But we need leaders in Congress. We need leaders on the immigration issue. We need leaders on our debt and our deficit. We need leaders to reform education, not the indoctrination that we have in this country. We need leaders in Washington, and leaders have to be careful. And, unfortunately, a lot of our Republican leaders, when they open their mouth, they say things that push off the conservative Latino or the Hispanic community, because some of the things they say are just not correct. And it just feeds into
it's not political correct.
Yeah, and it feeds into the left's narrative that we're horrible. So we as a party, and I'm very honest, I examine these things. I've watched it for 30 years in this country, and I tell it the way it is. And so when Republicans and conservatives make a mistake or there's a better path, I'll share that. I'll share that publicly. We have a saying in Texas, and everybody knows that politically, I'm the burr in the saddle. You know what that means?
No.
Okay, well, I'll tell you after the show.
Explain.
No, I can't. Well, a burr, I don't know how you say it. A burr, have you ever been walking through the grass and you get a little sticker that goes into your shoe or your sock?
Yeah.
And it pinches you? Uh-huh. That's called a burr. We call those burrs in Texas, or anything que te pica. So I'm the burr in the saddle. Do you know what a saddle is for a horse?
Sí.
Okay, so if you have a burr in the saddle, it hurts your rump, right?
Okay. So it's another way to say it, but
the other way to say it is a pain in the butt.
Exactly.
So, anyway.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's easy to understand.
All right, let's do some housekeeping. No one joined us on the program. I mean, we get thousands of viewers, and no one wants to click in and make a comment.
People don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
They're afraid of camera.
Well, then put up a white sheet or a screen, and we won't see your face. We'll just
Every
hear your
time
voice.
I put a camera on somebody,
They
it's
panic.
like they panic.
They panic.
There's like even people like speakers that they go and speak in public. They're very comfortable on that, but you put a camera on them and they're like panic. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the lens. Who knows? But anyway, some housekeeping. Texas Latino Conservatives, check out our website, texaslatinoconservatives.com. We have two organizations here. We are a general purpose PAC in the state of Texas. All of our filings and all of our fundraisers and all the money we make we don't make money, but all the money we raise is visible to the public, and you can look at those documents through the Texas Ethics Commission. It's all online. It's very transparent. We also have been operating as a 501c4 nonprofit for our education and advocacy of issues in the state of Texas. So we want you to know what we are. We take donations through either the Political Action Committee or through our 501c4. Those monies are segregated, okay, because the nonprofit cannot ask you to vote for someone, but the PAC can. And so that's what we do. Our success is based on your generosity, your donations to our Political Action Committee and to our nonprofit. How does our nonprofit benefit the state of Texas and the conservative movement? Let me give you one example. Through our Leadership Latino, which is part of our nonprofit organization, we train Hispanics and young Hispanics across the state to become conservative leaders. Many of them have gone on to do great things. For example, Mayra Flores, running for U.S. Congress in the Rio Grande Valley. Ferdy Arellano, who became one of the youngest county chairs in Maverick County. Joel Castro, or better known as Joel Castro, city council member in Alvin, Texas, mayor pro tem. We're endorsing a young man by the name of Roman Garcia. We will be in Kerrville this Friday.
Only 19 years old.
19 years old, running for city council in Kerrville. And let me tell you why that's important. Kerrville is about 60% conservative, Republican. But conservatives have a horrible record in voting in May elections. And so we decided to do a Get Out the Vote rally with our friends at the HRT, which is Hispanic Republicans of Texas, another organization like ours, And we're hoping that the RNHA, the Republican National Hispanic Assembly of Texas, and we're encouraging the Republican women down in Kerr County to come out and rally to get the conservatives to vote in the municipal election this Saturday and have the conservative voice heard. It is the race is between Roman Garcia, a conservative young man, and a 74-year-old woman who is an acolyte of Ann Richards, and people down there love her. I don't want to get into a lot of the politics of it, but I've heard that even some of the Republican women down there are supporting the Ann Richards acolyte. Are you kidding me? That's, and conservatives want to know why we've lost urban areas in Texas. That's why. Because we cede that to the liberal left in every city. We've lost Houston. We have lost Dallas. We have lost Fort Worth. We have lost San Antonio. We have lost El Paso. We have lost Austin, Texas, because conservatives sit at home, fold their arms, and say, oh, I guess Mayor Turner's not too bad, or I guess, Mayor Nuremberg or whatever in San Antonio's not too bad. Yeah, they're bad. They're not espousing or promoting any of the values that we as conservatives hold dear. So that's how we're losing Texas. So conservatives, que se pongan las pilas, right? And get to work and go vote. So that's why this Friday we will be at the YO Ranch Convention Center Hotel in Kerrville, Texas, rallying the conservatives to come out and vote Saturday. And by the way, there are elections all across the state of Texas.
So May 1st.
We're endorsing Adrian Garcia, not Adrian Garcia in Houston, but Adrian Garcia down in the Rio Grande Valley running for school board down there. Mm-hmm. And so we have endorsed. If you want to see our endorsements, go to our Facebook page, Texas Latino Conservatives, and look at all of our endorsements. And here's the good news, folks. You will notice that the people running for city council, for mayor, for school board across the state of Texas, they're young conservatives. Let me repeat that. Young conservatives. They range between the age of 18 to about 27 years of age.
Crazy.
And Republicans always ask me, Andrea, well, how do we get involved? Help these kids. Yeah. Send them $50. Go to their website. Go to our Facebook page. Find out who we've endorsed. And then go to their Facebook page or to their
campaign.
Their campaign
page.
And donate $10, $15, $20, $25.
And it's fascinating that these kids can be partying and going in trips and doing other things, but no, they want to be the voice of the community.
Yeah.
They're working for the community. It's impressive.
No, I am totally impressed. I'm optimistic. I run into a lot of precinct chairs and county chairs that are worried about, what's going on. I say, you haven't been traveling the state of Texas with us, because we see the future of Texas is in the hands of these young conservative Latinos that are working very hard to get elected to office. And that's how we're going to preserve the state of Texas in the hands of conservative leadership for the next couple of decades. If we're successful, we'll be in good shape. So donate to our candidates, donate to Texas Latino Conservatives, either to the PAC or to the nonprofit. Get involved. Don't sit on the couch. And if you're a young conservative, you want to go through our Leadership Latino class, click on our website. You'll see on the far top right-hand side, it says Leadership Latino. Click on that, and you can communicate with the director for Leadership Latino and sign up for the next class.
Make a difference, and I know the media doesn't cover much the elections in May 1st, and many people don't even know that is happening. But remember, the local government and the local people that is running for this position are the ones that impact your family and your daily job with whatever you do every single day. Those are the people that are impacting your life. So that's why it's important to go and vote. We have here the mayor of Pasadena, Jeff Wagner. The election is May 1st. So just next to us, next to Houston, Mayor of Pasadena, Jeff Wagner, is looking for re-election, so we need to support him. It's May 1st. We need to support our local elected officials, because that's what every single day they impact our family, our work, and even the groceries, everything. Everything that happens daily is impact for the local government. More than, we get excited with the presidential elections, but local government is what that impacts our life.
And let me tell you, I was watching not the local news and not the national news. I watch a lot of the business channels, I switch around between CNBC and Bloomberg, and I read the Wall Street Journal. And a lot of people may not pay attention to this, but I know you folks at home have. Have you seen the price of gasoline, how it spiked?
Crazy.
So it's over $1 more than it was just, 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But have you seen the price of groceries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the price of groceries.
I've been paying. I'm not saying I've been paying.
Yeah. The price of food has gone up.
Yeah.
Now, people think, there's not an impact to the left's push for minimum wage. Yes, minimum wage hurts. Let me tell you why. Because the cost of a loaf of bread will increase.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can pay $15, $17 an hour.
Milk.
So that hurts the young people that want a summer job, because not everybody can pay a high school student $17 an hour, but they can pay them, $12, $13 an hour.
Correct.
So it hurts the employment for young people just starting to enter the market, like your children. I
Yeah.
know your children work part-time.
They're working right now,
Right.
yeah. 16
So
years old.
No one's going to pay them $25 an hour.
No.
So, but by raising the minimum wage, it creates less opportunities for your kids to have part-time jobs. It hurts families that are hardworking. And on top of that, if the price of gas, the price of gasoline, and less employment for young people weren't bad enough, guess what's coming down? Tax increases. So think about that. If you're voting liberal, if you're voting with the left, if you're voting with Democrats, think about that. Just the economy. Think how good it was 8 months ago from an economic perspective, and think how bad it's getting today, and it's only going to get worse, and we got 3.5 more years of this leftist leadership. Think about that.
And some people don't want to work. And we were like having that topic last Wednesday, that they're struggling with employees.
But that's the aim of the left.
Yeah.
The aim of the left is that everybody sits at home and depends on the government.
Mm-hmm.
You get your check, you get your slab of cheese, and then when the government runs out of money, which it ultimately will, because the government doesn't produce anything, they don't make money, they get it from us. They extirpate it. You know what that means, to extirpate? New word.
Extra pagan.
Te lo sacan.
Te la extra sacan.
Take it out of your pocket. So the government extirpates dollars out of our pockets so that they can redistribute. Socialism is about the redistribution of wealth. Socialists don't like capitalism because they think capitalists are pigs and that they're too rich, and then they create class envy. This happened in the Soviet Union. And so the beauty is that we as conservatives love capitalism because everybody has an opportunity to become an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos or, the creator of the next high tech. We all have that opportunity. Are we all going to get there? No. But we have the ability to get there. In a socialist system, you don't. The only people that do well in the socialist system is the Politburo, the heads of government. They're the ones that have all the perks and all the privileges. That's what the struggle is all about. So think about that.
That's it.
That's it. We're
Well
out of
done.
time. Okay, thank you. You can have the rest of the show.
By opinion. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Next Wednesday is going to be Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, that we like Cinco de Mayo. It's great, but we're going to replace that with Tejano Day in Texas.
But Cinco de Mayo, people, is not Mexican Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo is something that they created here to drink more margaritas.
And Cinco de Mayo is a failure of the public education system.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Cinco de Mayo is not Independence Day, Mexican Independence Day.
And
so
Mexicans don't even, they scratch their head wondering,
I know,
what the
they
hell,
laugh.
What the hell are those Americans
They laugh like, why they're
celebrating?
celebrating? But it's just like, it's a good day to have margaritas, chips, and tacos, and Mexican food. But any day is good to have that.
It's a day created by the revisionists that want to eradicate history and write their own history.
Correct.
Yeah.
But next Wednesday...
The cancel culture.
Correct.
Okay.
So next Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo, we're going to have a full show. Hopefully we don't have any technical issues or connections and anything. So we see you guys next Wednesday. Then you guys can have margaritas anyway.
Yeah.
To celebrate this Margarita Day.
All right, we're out of here. See you next week.
Nos vemos.